Um, really just taking it and ran a full head of steam with it. Me, Nas, and one, like we talked about it privately. Like we know that we have to be the vocal point of our defensive line and defensive front, and we talked about it all camp. Talked about it going into the season, and it's just a thing that we all pride ourselves on. We know it's a big thing that we got to take home.
How do you feel like fall camp went for you, and what do you sort of envision your role being on this defensive line this year?
I had a very productive fall camp. I feel like I was very good in my leadership. It was very tough times, a lot of hot days. So that was the guy that was trying to get everybody through and push the guys and tell them, hey, just win this situation, win that situation. If it was third down, 2 minutes, things like that. And I really prided myself on that this camp, and I feel like I got better at that. So I feel like it's going to take us a long way throughout the season.
Zion, you go up against this offensive line every day, and there are many moving parts to it. But just what makes this group great this year?
Just the maulers that we got up front, and it's just not just our first group, second group as well. Our first two or three groups can go to any school in the country and play. I feel like, and that's what we pride ourselves on here at the University of Georgia. If a guy goes down, next guy got to be able to step up. So we really believe and pride ourselves on that.
Zion, how big has Trey Scott been for your development, and what's the biggest thing that stands out about him to you as a coach?
He's been huge for me. He's done things for me like outside of football, just like a mental and mindset type of thing. Just helped me attack my everyday life. Just giving me knowledge, giving me tools, just to be able to navigate my way through tough situations, whether it's school, life, football. He's been a great pillar in my life these past 4 to 5 years.
What's been the biggest thing that's kept you patient for your opportunity here?
Just not wanting to be that guy who's 10, 15 years down the road said I could have been this. I just always waited my turn, and it's getting greater for me. And I know this season is what I really need to put myself in that next position to get to the next level. And as well as some other guys on this team like Dan Jackson, he's waited his time even with injuries. Guys like Nyland Green, he's waited his time since he's been here. So the University of Georgia does that. Like if you're not ready, we're going to develop you, and when your time comes, you got to step up and make plays.
You've been on some great defenses here the last few years. What's the potential this one?
We stick to what we do, stick to who we are. This defense can do some unbelievable things. We're very tight knit. We're very tight knit defense as any other year. I just think that we're connected more than a lot of teams, offensively and defensively. Not just speaking on defense, but I think our connection is really going to take us to where we want to be.
Yeah, with all the adversity y'all face in fall camp, with the heat and tough situations, do you remember a specific time for you where you had to step up as a leader and either bring younger guys through it, help the older guys push through it? I mean, what do you remember a specific instance from fall camp for you?
So I'll probably go back to our first scrimmage. That was probably one of the first hot days that we experienced, and not just on the defensive side of the ball. Offensive side of the ball was kind of sluggish a little bit too. Like we got after each other in some situations. Like defense won probably like 3 third down, and offense probably won 2 minutes, some things like that. And it was just being that vocal guy that guys can look up to and be like, okay, I hear you, and we really got to get better at this. So I feel like that was probably one of the earlier times that we've seen it.
A couple of days into game week, just what has practice been like? What's the energy been around the team knowing or a few days away from going out and getting somebody else?
Game prep has been great. Coach Smart came in on Monday, and he was like, practice for game week versus from a fall camp practice is 2 different things, and guys got to lock in. It's like it's time for the foolishness, it's time for the silliness to go out the door. You got to come in with a workman's attitude, hard hat, and lunch bell. And I feel like guys have really clicked into that. We've had really two good solid days, and so we just got to finish the week out right, and then just do it. Get ready for Saturday.
You've been used to going up against Stetson the past 2 years, hearing his voice at the line of scrimmage and stuff like that. What have you seen from Carson in terms of just commanding the offense, his voice leading the offense, and just pocket presence from your perspective as a D lineman?
So honestly, I've heard Carson command even when he wasn't the starter because, like I said, we get guys ready for any situation. Like Stetson could have went down, Carson had to be that guy to be ready to play. So I've heard him command our offense for the past year and a half, and he's stepping into it just like he's always been there. So and I'm just ready to see him go out and do it on Saturdays.
Kirby said he announced in the team meeting before practice today that Kyrus made the Titans roster.
Yeah.
What was the reaction like in there, and what do you think that says about
Shoot.
him?
Man, the guys that have been here that have seen his time, we all clapped. Well, everybody in the room clapped just because they knew who Kyrus was. But the guys who have really been here and seen his progression over the time, like it's brought chills to my body, man. I'm grateful to hear that. Just the injuries and the touches that he didn't get here, I feel like he's gonna get it in the league, and like he just gotta take it by the horns and run with him.
How reassuring are stories like Kyrus's or, like Trayvon Walker's even, who sat 2 years and then first round draft pick after 1 year? How reassuring are those types of stories to players like you who've waited your turn?
It's great, man. Honestly, I'm like to Trayvon, I was actually when he got drafted that night. I was there, so it was like a real this could really happen. So and I told myself that, and I knew it was gonna take some time, and I feel like this year I just have to go make 100% of the plays that come to me and 100% of the plays that I'm supposed to make. And I feel like when that time comes, I'll maximize everything and then just let the chips fall where they may.
What are your impressions so far of Jordan Hall, and even how far he's come since he first got here to get ready for his freshman year?
Oh, he's come very far. Just as a freshman, learning the defense, getting in shape, getting in playing shape. He's still got a far ways to go as all freshmen do, but he's going to be a great player when he gets his defense all together.
Yeah, as someone who knows what it's like to come in and learn how to play as a freshman and things like that, how difficult is that from a high school perspective, where you're probably the biggest guy on the field, oftentimes a lot of the best player on the field, and then you come here to a place like Georgia where you have Trayvon Walker, Jalen Carter, and now yourself, Michael Williams, etc. How difficult of a transition is that?
It's very difficult because you go and you play against all the talent around your region, around your area, and then you might go play in an all-star game, and you going against similar guys. When you get to college, like ones to the threes, everybody can go out and play. So it might be a guy who hasn't played in the game, but he'll get the best of you here and there. So and it brings the best out of you because you might not look at that guy as the guy who he might not be the best, but he's gonna give you everything you got. So and it just goes back to the way we prepare. Just everybody has to be ready to play. Everybody got to be ready to go.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Simon.
Simon.